welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Indianapolis, brought to you by Ultimate Guard. I'm Nick Miller, alongside esteemed coverage partner and now 5-time Open champion Chris VanMeter. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The handshake comes a little bit of hardware. You're used to this, though.
Yeah, I have to make room. I don't have a spot on my shelf anymore. Only 4 fits. What are you going to do?
It's a good problem to have.
First world problems, right?
First world problems, indeed. You guys, Team Card Hoarder in specific, dominated this tournament. Top tables all weekend long, just nothing but Card Hoarder jerseys.
Yeah, the conversion was insane. Like, not only did we take the tournament, second time in a row taking first week standard, where Devin won with Tenjum's Bant Company list for Eldritch Moon, which, by the way, is also a Tenjum list.
Right.
But we had 13 members here playing. All 13 made day 2, and we put 8 people in the top 64 and 3 in the top 8.
Right.
And there were only like 1 or 2 people that weren't on some version of White-Red.
Right. Of course, Lucas Kiefer lost his winning in, or he would have had 4.
Yeah.
So the numbers were there. Now, we deck teched Kent, but you guys all played basically the same list. Yours was like 1 or 2 cards different. Mm-hmm. Again, talk about the preparation for this event and how you guys came onto this list.
Yeah.
Did you guys, also, if you guys knew how good the deck was?
Well, we figured out, it wasn't really early or really late, just like right in the middle of our testing, that this deck was very good. I tend to gravitate towards more Delirium style decks, along with Jacob Baugh. So him and I were working on a bunch of like different weird decks, if you will. Mm-hmm. And nothing just like really stuck out as being good. The first deck that I latched onto was Chris Anderson had like a green-red energy deck that played very similar to a monster style. But like once Tenjum put this deck together without Inventor's Apprentice, which was like the big difference. So
right.
like Inventor's Apprentice, or Nerd Ape as it's being called,
sure.
Just like unless you have your deck built like the straight red-black aggro, it's just not going to be very good in the white-red deck. So once we got rid of Inventor's Apprentice, then everything started to come together. It played a little more mid-range when we needed it to, with like Sky Sovereign and just Depala generating a bunch of card advantage. So like as soon as Tenjum put together a list without Nerd Ape in it, we were like, wow, there's something here, let's start playing.
Right, and that's the thing, and you guys' build has a little bit more mid to late game, because we saw a ton of white-red aggro decks this weekend. Not only your guys' vehicle build, but we also saw Mike Kinney was playing a white-red low to the ground deck. 2 of the Kiefer kids were on like their own, even lower to the low.
Yeah, old Bonesaw.
Yeah, Bonesaw, like Captain's Claws style. And then Donovan Lackney was the top seed going in the tournament, or the top 8, with his own like white-red humans deck. So there was so many different builds, and to come onto the build you guys did, it's very strong.
Yeah, Donovan's deck was very good. I was really impressed with the build for it. I feel like some mixture of his deck and our deck could actually be really good in the weeks to come, so keep that in mind. Like the human synergy is good, and Thraben Inspector, or Thalia's Lieutenant, is the card that I think that makes Inventor's Apprentice playable. Like once it becomes a 3/4, it's very difficult to interact with. We knew that the white-red aggro decks were going to be good coming into this week, and if you saw any of us on camera, we always had a lot of sideboard cards on the battlefield in games 2 and 3, because it was not uncommon for us to just side all 15 cards. Gideon, Weaver of Lightning, Galvanic Bombardment, Sky Whaler Shot, like all of those cards are just very good against the other copter decks. And there were 32 copies of that card in the top 8, so you got to prepare for it.
Yeah, I think you were prepared, because that's one thing we saw. I talked to the teammates, earlier this weekend, and they're like, yeah, we're siding like 14 to 15 cards in a lot of matchups. And I was like, well, maybe it sounds like your deck isn't tuned right, but then it's just like, no, you just had the right angles, and you had all the answers in the post-board games.
Yeah, like having cards like Toolcraft Exemplar and Fleetwheel Cruiser are going to be good against some decks in the meta, but not all. And they're just like very easy to turn into more interactive, more robust cards like Galvanic Bombardment, Gideon Ally of Zendikar, and Weaver of Lightning was just like the MVP out of the sideboard all weekend. For those of you that are wondering, it does have reach, and it can block the old Looter Scooter very well.
Yeah, takes care of that pretty well. All right, so what does Team Card Hoarder got going forward, coming up the rest of the tour here?
So next we're going to be in, I believe it's Milwaukee for Modern, and Modern, I don't know. Like, I've heard whispers that we're going to champion 8-rack, but we'll see what happens. Don't be surprised if you see me with the rack on the battlefield.
All right. Well, you know, you've played some Tom Ross decks before, so that's no
I have,
surprise.
and done well with them, so I do believe in the Tom.
All right, well, congratulations. It's nice to have you back on the tour playing. You know,
Thank
you
you.
moved out west, but, you know, it's good to have you. So
are back.
congratulations one last time.
Thank you.
Going to send it back to Cedric and Patrick here in Indy.